Hey folks, welcome back to another video of the Flutter Development course brought to you by Newton School. My name is Harsh Kumar Khatri and I am working as a Flutter developer at Ellhoop, Sweden, and I have worked as an intern at Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and I have also worked as a Flutter developer intern at a firm named AppScript. I am also an educator and instructor on Udemy and at Unix, where my Flutter development courses have more than 40,000 plus enrollments already, so you can check them out as well. And now talking about what Newton School is. So Newton School basically is a platform that helps you to learn and develop the skills that you need for your best tech career. There are courses specifically designed for freshers, working professionals, and for women with no prior experience in tech. Newton School first trains you for 6 months and helps you become a full stack developer. And they are also having a network of 300 plus great companies who hire directly from Newton School. So they also ensure that you are placed with one of the best companies in the country. They are also having a pay after placement program where you don't have to pay anything to Newton School until and unless you are placed with the minimum CTC of 5 lakh rupees per annum. And they are also having another amazing initiative known as Launchpad, where you don't have to pay anything to them and you will be getting some of the courses for free of the cost, and you can learn from those courses and also get a certificate of completion. And this is one of the cool thing which I like about them. So you will also be getting a certificate of completion to showcase your progress. So make sure to check out Newton School and Launchpad through the link given in the description. Now talking about what will be covered in this video. So in this video we'll be working on developing an app. So we'll be starting with the TODO app from this video, and we'll be working on the same app in the upcoming videos as well. In this video I'll be showing you the initial setup for the same, like what are the initial things or initial files which you need to create, and how will be the file structure, and what are the things which you will be doing when you will be starting with an app like the same. And we'll be starting with the home screen as well. We'll be creating some of the components for that screen, and we'll be working on the same in this particular video. So make sure to watch the video until the end, and let me switch the screen and let's start working on the same. So herein you can see that I have opened the project which we were working on in the previous video. So in the previous video I have shown you the implementation of the SQLite database and how we can perform CRUD operations on that database. So we have worked on that in the previous video, and in this video we are going to work on this project which is called as a TODO app, and we are going to develop this totally from scratch. So now let's start with the video. So at first what I'll be doing is I'll be removing this stateless widget which is present over here, and we'll be adding a stateful widget in place of it with the name of homepage only. The next thing which I need to do is I need to create two controllers for my text editing controller. Like we'll be having text editing fields inside it, so that's why I need controllers for them. Similarly, I'll be copying the first one and will be pasting it, naming it as controller2 for now. Next we need to create a list which will be used for querying the data and for displaying the queried data from the database. So list will be having a type of map which takes string as a key and dynamic as a value, and after that the name of it will be underscore query rows, and it could be of a type null. Let me just change this to list. It could be of a type null. Yeah. And next I'll be creating another variable with the type of list, and the name of it will be data list, and this could also be null, so list data. Next, creating two boolean variables. One will be for setting if the data should be visible, and the second would be setting the visibility of the editing option. So we'll also be having an option in our TODO app where we have an edit option. So if the user is clicking on that edit option, then he can use that option to edit the field which is present inside our app as well. So we'll be creating two boolean variables for the same. So visible, which means that this should be visible or the field should be visible to the user or not, and similarly bool underscore edit visibility, which will also be having a value as false. Next I'm going to create a variable which will be used for like updating a particular field. So this will be storing the data related to which field needs to be updated. So the name of it would be toUpdate ID, which will be holding the ID of the data or the field which needs to be updated. Next we need to create a function which will be used for querying the rows as soon as we are starting the app. So we'll be having void init, and I could have like added the things in the init state only, but as init state cannot be of a kind async, so that's why we are creating a separate function of the name init, and it is of a type async, and we'll be assigning the value to query rows by awaiting. Let me add an equals to over here. So await, and with the help of database helper which we have created in the previous video, so we'll be doing that database helper dot instance dot query all, and we can pass the table name over here. Let me first walk you through the database helper and let me tell you what all are the changes you need to do over there in this particular database helper file. And one more thing, like we won't be needing these deleting, inserting, and the querying and updating files, so let me delete these as well. And removing the imports for each of them from main.dart file. Yeah, so here in the first thing which we are having over here is a database name. Next we are having a database version to be 1. Next we are having a table name as my table, and I'll be creating another table as well which will be of a name table name 2, and the name of the table would be completed items. So completed items, this will be used for storing the items which have been completed. And next you can see over here that we are having a field as column ID. Next is column name, and I need 2 more fields over here which will be of name column name 2, and next would be column name 3. I'm just adding the random things over here, and this will be having the data related to date and time, which means that it will be storing the data when the field was created, updated, or like completed and stuff like that. And we are also having this completed. So date time will be storing the details related to when the field was created and it was updated, and this completed on will be creating the data related to when the field was completed or when the to do task which we have added was completed. So it will be holding that. Next we are having a private constructor as we created in the previous video, and it is used for like creating the instance through the private constructor so that we can run various different things on our database. Next we are having this database variable created, and later this get database async which will be checking if the database is available. If it is available, then we'll be using that only. If it is not available, then we'll be initializing a new database and returning a database. Inside the initial database, we are first getting the directory of the application. Next we are joining the path of that directory to the database name, and we are then returning an open database by passing the path, the version for the database, and running this on create over here. Inside this on create, as you can see over here, that we are creating a table with the column ID integer which is primary key, column name as text not null, and I'll also be creating another over here which will be having column name 2, and this will be also of type text and not null. So this will be the first query which will be executed for creating a table with the name of my table. And now we need to create another table as well which will be of a kind which will be of a name table name 2, and this will be used for storing the data related to the completed items. So column ID would be same, column name would be same, column name 2 would also be same. I just need to paste the column name 3 thing over here, or add the column name 3 thing over here. So column name 3, it will also be of a type text and it would not be null. So this is the thing which will be creating the table. Let me add a comment as well. Creating table 1 for adding data to to-do list, and the next one command would be used for creating the table for storing completed items from the to-do list. So this on create command will be running, and accordingly the tables would be created. Now inside this insert function which we are having, The most of the things are same, like async, we are getting the instance of the database and we will be inserting the data with the table name and row. Next we are having this query all, which will be taking a table name in our case, as we are having two table names over here. So table name, and it will be getting the instance of the database, and later on it will be querying the data from the table name. Let me table name passed, and so that it makes a difference over here, and we don't like recognize it similar to other table names as well. For the update as well, we are having a row, and async, it will be getting the instance, later it will be getting the field which needs to be updated, and herein we can update the data by passing the parameters, arguments, the table name and the row which is the data to be updated. For the delete as well, we are having a future int, where we are having this delete function taking the ID of the field which is to be deleted, and we are getting the instance of the database awaiting the delete function to be completed, and we are passing the table name, the condition or the parameters and arguments where we want the data to be deleted or we want the field to be deleted. So this was pretty much it for the database helper file. Most of the code which I have used over here is from the previous file only, or the previous project only, which we have created. And now, as I was here inside the query all, I need to pass my table name, so my table, and later on setting the state of the app such that the query underscore query rows value is updated dynamically inside the app. Next, I am running the init state function, and herein I'll be passing the init which we have created above. So we'll be running the init function from the init state function which we are having over here. We'll also be having a dispose for disposing the controllers which we are having. So dispose, and my controller, let me check the name, I have named it as controller only, controller dot dispose, and controller2 dot dispose as well. Next, let's start working on the build part of our app of this stateful widget. So replacing it as kfold, adding an app bar which takes an app bar, and inside it we are having a title set as text saying to do app, and we can pass various different styles inside it, but I'm not passing anything for now. For the app bar, we can also add the actions. So I'll be adding a similar action over here which takes a padding. So padding will be of kind h insets dot only from right with the value of 15. This needs to get deleted, and in place of it this, adding a child as gesture detector which takes an on tap, and inside this we'll be setting the state of the variables which we have created above. So we'll be setting the value of editing visibility to false, and we'll also be setting the value of underscore visible. We'll be first checking if the value of underscore visible is equals to false. If this is true, then we'll be setting the value of underscore visible to true, else we'll be setting the value of underscore visible to false. And for the child of this gesture detector, I'll be adding an icon which will be of kind icons dot add a plus icon over here, and this completes our app bar. Now moving towards the body part of our app. So coming out of this app bar and adding a body over here which takes a column at first, having children's as padding. The first children is a padding, so padding takes an h insets dot only, and for only we can pass the top value as 15. So we are providing a padding of top with the value of 15 and bottom with the value of 15 as well. And for the child of this particular padding, I'll be adding a gesture detector, and this will be taking an on tap and a child as well. So let me add a child first and then I'll be adding the on tap, because for the on tap we need to create a new screen which will be for taking the user to the completed items. So I'll be creating that as well. But for the child I'll be adding a container, having a child as center, having a child as a container again. And this container will be having decorations inside it of kind box decoration. And for the color it will be having colors dot black, and for the font for the box shadow it will be having the box shadow in a form of a list, and this takes a box shadow which can have a color. So at first the color would be equal to colors dot gray, the offset, and the offset would be equal to offset, and we can pass the dx and dy axis which will be 0 and 1 for this case. And for the blur radius for this shadow I am adding the value as 3, and for the spread radius I'll be adding it as 1. And we are getting some errors. Let me just hover over it and see what is missing. Expected to find this over here, and now it has fixed, and saving it, formatting has also taken place. Now coming out of this box shadow, and I'm going to add a border over here which will be having a value of border dot all. From all the sides we'll be having the border, and we'll be setting the width as 2, and the color of the border would be colors dot black. After that for the child of this container we'll be having a padding. So padding which takes a padding of edge insets dot all with the value of 8, and for the child we'll be having a text. So after this I need to add. So for the child of this padding we'll be having a text widget which will be saying completed items, and we can add some styles to this text as well. So style, text style, font size to be 28, the font weight to be font weight dot w500, so, and the color to be blue. And herein I have forgot to pass the value as 8. Now it is fine. Now we haven't added the on tap yet, so let me create a new file over here which will be for the completed item screen. So inside the lib, new file, completed items underscore screen dot. Hope you got to learn something new from this video. If you did, then make sure to drop a like, comment down below what you would like to see in the upcoming series of the video, and share this video with the people in your community who want to learn Flutter. Subscribe to the channel to get all the latest updates related to the Flutter development course videos which are being posted on every alternate day. And make sure to check out Newton School and Launchpad through the link given in the description. They are doing amazing work, so make sure to give them a check as well. And yeah, this was pretty much it for this video. I'll be seeing you in the next one.